For all those out there that don't know what production company we have, it is AVW, and our award ceremony are the AVs. And guess what, folks? We swept every single award last week. Congratulations to the Ohio Sports Zone and all of the people that work for us.
Yeah, just a tremendous year for us here at Ohio Sports Zone. Coming up next, though, we have general Ohio news, baseball, softball, and we're even going to play little Ohio Bobcats and Mid-American Conference trivia. Coming up next, Ohio Sports Zone.
Back to Ohio Sports Zone. My name is Bobby Levine. Alongside me is Ethan Graham, partner in crime as always. We have one more episode left after this one.
Unreal.
You ready to get going?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. You were going to talk about women's golf here at Ohio University. What's going on?
Yeah, an incredible week out on the links. Haley Herenowich specifically was named the MAC Golfer of the Week. A big week for Haley at the Dolores Black Falcon tournament in Bowling Green. She was tied for first after the first day, just 1 over. Shot even the next day, putting her at 1 over for the tournament. She won this tournament as an individual. That was her second time doing so. First time since October 2016, which is technically earlier this golf season. They divide the golf season up north over two spring seasons, fall and spring, just because that's kind of how it is up here in Ohio. The Kazoo Classic was the last tournament she won. The Bobcats would win this tournament as a team as well. It was their first victory since 2014 as a team. They have one more meet. They have match play with Bowling Green at the Lancaster Country Club. That is coming up Saturday, April 15th. And then it's off to MAC tournament time. So things are looking up for women's golf. We have more golf on campus, though, outside of women's golf. I understand something very personal to you, the club golf team here at Ohio University.
The Ohio Club Golf Team, folks. This might be the best story of the year.
Really?
I promise you. This program got started about 4 years ago. My old roommate, Matt Fazio, and a couple other guys started this team just to play golf. They want to get out there. They weren't good enough to go D1, or they didn't want to worry about the D1 thing. They go out there, get a deal with the OU Club golf course. They get the job done there. The last couple years, we were ranked in the 40 to 50 range in the nation. Unfortunately, I got very busy this whole past year with the podcast and everything going on with that. So I left, and since then, the team has gotten some incredible incoming freshmen. With that, the freshmen have taken this team to a whole new level. This team is now ranked in the top 10 in the nation.
Wow.
They won their sectional and regional event. Cam Lang is going to nationals. The whole team is going to nationals. They're going down to Arkansas next weekend. I want to wish everybody on the team good luck in the future. That's an unbelievable achievement for them moving forward and for this whole program.
Yeah, it's just tremendous. I mean, honestly, we talk about, how women's basketball is pretty much made by a coach, and we're going to talk a little bit later in this block how wrestling's, built up, but not just by a few groups of guys. These programs literally existed. The club golf, like you said, literally did not exist before this group of guys brought it together. So that's just a tremendous story, even though they're not NCAA, maybe small potatoes here.
Well, the best golfer they have is a freshman. They were talking about the men's team. His head coach will be coming and knocking at his door, wanting him to join the team because he's shooting.
I would imagine
below par. So good luck for them and moving on to the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Good stuff on the golf course. Wrestling. Let's talk amateur wrestling, not pro wrestling, which is my favorite kind of wrestling.
Yes, absolutely.
But Joel Greenlee celebrating his 20th year here at Ohio University as the wrestling coach. We talk so much about Bob Bolden and women's basketball building up his program from the ground. Coach Greenlee has done the same thing. You walk into that wrestling group now, as opposed to 20 years ago. I mean, there's just banners everywhere. It's Banner City in there. NCAA tournament All-Americans, MAC championship appearances, MAC championship victories. just everything you would want. Coach Greenlee, 58-0-3 as his time as a collegiate wrestler at Northern Iowa, spreading on that winning pedigree here to Ohio University. This wrestling program is on the up and up. I know we had Nolan on Ohio Sports Zone earlier this year talking wrestling. Just incredible stuff.
Absolutely. Everything right now seems to be going very, very well for Ohio Bobcats in all sports. Spring, it's really warm weather. But talking about a sport in the fall, the Ohio football team, spring practice got started this week for them. We've got a couple guys that are in this draft class that have a very high chance of getting drafted very early on and making a huge impact as a rookie. Who do you have in mind?
Yeah, some big names leaving campus here, unfortunately, for the Cats. Terrell Basham is a guy who had a strong combine, running a 4.7 with a 31.5 vertical. He's versatile. This is a guy who can be an edge rusher. He can be, that edge linebacker position. He can play in a 4-3 or that 3-4 style, or he can be a defensive end coming off the edge. A lot of scouts don't see him as a guy who can come in and start right away, but, potential for a solid backup, maybe the 3rd, 4th round potential for him. So, if you're watching the second day of the draft there, look out for Terrell.
The thing I got with Terrell Basham, though, is he gets to the quarterback. He knows how to...
He's quick, absolutely.
If you're a professional, if you're one of the NFL teams, you want this guy on your team because he can get to the quarterback and be a defensive lineman. That's such a big factor in getting to the quarterback.
Absolutely. He has those intangibles, And another guy who has those intangibles is Blair Brown, the inside linebacker for Ohio. I know we had an interview with him here earlier this year on Ohio Sports Zone. This dude loves hitting people.
Yes.
He loves the big hits. He's undersized for a linebacker, 5'11", 238, but the character is there. The intangibles are there. I expect him to come in, have a decent NFL career. He's going to get some looks, He might get passed over until the later rounds, maybe not even drafted because of his size. But Blair Brown, tremendous character, tremendous football ability. I look for him to be on an NFL roster coming out of this preseason.
He went up to Buffalo and had an interview with the Buffalo Bills, so good luck to him moving forward. This is all we have for A Block.
This is.
We're going to come back. We have Shane Dazen with all Ohio baseball here on Ohio Sports Zone.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back here on Ohio Sports Zone. Ethan Graham with Bobby Levine. Only 6 blocks left for Bobby Levine. What are we going to do when you are gone? We are also joined at this time by the Rabbit Father and Ohio baseball expert, Shane Dazen. Shane, how we doing, bud?
Pretty solid, man. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent now that I am surrounded by you guys. I want to get into some baseball. A tough weekend series for Ohio last weekend, being swept by the Central Michigan Chippewas. What happened?
Yeah, after getting out to a great start against Ball State and sweeping them to start MAC play 3-0, Ohio got swept by the Chippewas over there at Bob Wren Stadium on the weekend. A couple tough losses for the Bobcats in that series. That first game saw the Bobcats give up 4 runs in the top of the 12th inning there en route to a 6-2 loss. You never want to see that. Jerry Salisbury, a little bit of a wasted effort there on the mound. He pitched 7 great innings for the Bobcats, and tough to see him, not factor into that game.
Sure.
And after that, another 10-8 loss into that second wrap of the doubleheader. Butch Bayard, 7 earned runs in 2 innings pitched. You're never going to like the result of that. Central Michigan was up 10-1 after 5 innings, and although Ohio scored 7 runs to kind of eke their way back into that game, ultimately their efforts fell short there. To wrap up that series, 4-2 loss on Sunday, again, to the Chippewas. Pat Leverman for Central Michigan had 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, only gave up 1 run against the Bobcats. Michael Klein, that big ace pitcher for the Cats, went 6 strong. 3 strikeouts for him, but he ultimately took the loss on the bump.
All right, so right now the team is 16-16 and 3-3 in conference play.
Yeah.
They got swept by Central Michigan, as we just talked about. After that, they beat Youngstown State but lost to Marshall. What do you have on that game?
Oh, yeah, that Youngstown State game was another little bit of a battle of attrition for the Bobcats. They get out to an early 5-0 lead against Youngstown State. Everything was looking good, and then they surrender 5 runs in the middle portion of that game. End up winning it on a squeeze bunt play by Tyler Finkler. They had to play a little bit of small ball in the 8th inning to eke out a 6-5 win. Tom Coletti got the win on the bump for them in that matchup. But, another a little bit of a wasted opportunity for Ohio to really make a statement. They get the win, but it's not in the fashion that you'd like to see after having that 5-0 lead so early on in the contest. You're really looking for that consistency for the Bobcats as they moved forward, and they didn't find it against Marshall, against a tough Marshall team. 12-9 loss, another early deficit for the Bobcats. Gave up a bunch of runs in the middle of the innings after taking a 4-0 lead against Marshall. End up trailing 12-5, and they tack on another 4 runs there. But as we said earlier, when you have those big deficits and they score those runs in chunks, as we've seen, the Ohio pitching staff kind of sort of fall into those, deficits really easily, you're not going to win those baseball games.
Absolutely. A lot of inconsistency, non-conference you talked, but even, more arguably in MAC play. They have Eastern Michigan this weekend. What are some things to look for in that series? You think the Cats can come out 2-3, maybe 3?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Eastern Michigan's 13-20 on the year, but they are 4-2 in MAC play, so you gotta, not take them lightly. If you're the Bobcats, you gotta definitely keep your nose to the grindstone and keep pitching the way they have. 3.59 ERA for the Cats. That is first in the MAC, and they've got their 3 horses going for them this weekend against Eastern Michigan. That Friday night matchup features Jerry Salisbury for the Cats, 1-2 with a 3.20 ERA, 39 strikeouts on the year. Saturday's matchup, obviously, we see Michael Klein again following him up, 1.86 ERA, another 39 strikeouts for him as well. And then to round that out on Sunday, Butch Bayard on the bump, 4-1 record, 4.40 ERA, but he gets his strikeouts to 35 for him and holding opponents to a 2.53 opponent average. So we'll see what happens there.
As we said, the team is playing 500 ball. They're treading water, as they say. You gave us some stats before the show came on, talking about how good their defense is, how good their pitching is.
Yeah.
Why can't the bats get hot right now?
That's the only thing holding them back right now, folks. 983 fielding percentage is 8th in the country currently in the entire NCAA. That's a really impressive stat for the Bobcats to hold their first in the MAC in that category. As we said, their pitching is tops in the MAC in earned run average, but their bats are holding them back right now. 260 batting average, not terrible as a team. 4th in the MAC for them there. Not consistent at the plate, don't have consistent approaches at the plate, and you're not seeing a ton of extra base hits. They're getting guys on, but they're not driving them in with authority. They're playing small ball and they're eking out runs that way, but playing small ball is only going to get you so far. You got to have those big hits in crucial situations, and they're not finding them right now. Yeah.
Prediction time. I kind of asked you earlier. You kind of dodged and weaved the question there.
Yeah.
Ohio come out with a series win this weekend
against Eastern Michigan. Man, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If they can get the bat rack rolling for the Cats, you got to like their odds. Some guys that are looking pretty good for them as we move forward here. Spencer Ibarra, 11 multi-hit games, leading the team in nearly every single offensive category. So, if he comes to the plate for the Cats and does some good things there, that's going to be a great start for them. Michael Klein, obviously pitching, but, at the bat rack too, 287 average. 4 home runs, second on the team there. So you'd like to see, maybe him try to get a run of a ball there, try to pop one out. That would be great for the Cats. And, to counter that for Eastern Michigan, a guy who you got to watch out for, John Montgomery, leading their team in batting average, home
Very
runs, RBIs, big outfield asset for the Eastern Michigan Eagles there. I think that he is going to be a guy that Ohio is going to have to limit when he is at the plate. But, hopefully they can out-hit the team, and that'll be a really good start to determining whether or not they can win the series.
Incredible baseball coverage, as always, from Shane Days. And you stay right where you are. We're going to come back with some softball coverage. Ohio Sports Zone.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to Ohio Sports Zone. We are in the favorite block of your segment here.
Oh, I love softball. Just like how you love women's basketball, I love me some softball.
Not only that, but I don't know if you guys heard this yet.
Yeah.
They have new bleachers.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen these bleachers, you guys? Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, Ohio softball field. It's incredible. These bleachers are among the best I've ever sat in.
I was comparing it to seeing a sporting event in the Coliseum. And I'm not talking about the LA Coliseum.
Right.
I'm talking about the Roman Coliseum.
It's incredible.
To watch a game in these bleachers, thank goodness our tuition money is going to something important like this.
I don't know if I want to say that, but they are certainly incredible bleachers nonetheless. But, all bleachers aside, let's talk some softball. Ohio lost 2 of 3 last weekend to Ball State, an elite MAC team, an offensively potent team, Bobby. It was a pair of 3-2 losses to start this series for the Cats, coming back with a 3-2 win on Sunday, though. Home runs by Michaela Cooper and Madison Clater. Just great pitching performance from Danielle Stein. Again, when they don't run Savannah Jo Dorsey out there, they have Danielle Stein, absolute stud out there on the bump, getting it done for the Cats. Solid contact and timely hitting was something Coach Hermanic talked about for the Cats, is ultimately what won them that third game. Taylor Saxton got her first triple of the season in this game. Ball State threatened late in the game, first and second with no outs in the bottom of the 6th. Ohio was able to dance out of this one, though, hang on for the victory over the Cardinals. 3 runs on 5 hits for the Bobcats. So, not taking 2 of 3, not winning that series, but certainly playing with a competitive Ball State team that arguably may be the favorite to win the MAC now. I know I came on here a lot and talked about how Ohio should be the favorite, but Ball State, Cardinals, look out.
All right, now we got to talk about the Kent State game.
Oh, man.
Kent State ended up coming in and beating Ohio University 1-0. It took them 11 innings. Softball normally played 7 innings.
Right.
They played 4 extra innings. Savannah Jo Dorsey pitches the entire game. If your fans are listening out there, 3 times 11 is 33 outs.
That is correct.
Savannah Jo Dorsey struck out 22 of the 33 outs in this game, and they still got the loss.
I have no words. We could just stop right there, and that would just be enough content for that game. But yeah, 22 strikeouts for Savannah Jo Dorsey, 2/3 of her outs coming the way of the K-ball. It was her career high.
No duh.
Well, yeah, obviously. 17 was her career high. 17 was her career high. Smashed that earlier in the game. It was just an incredible game. Bottom of the 10th, Bobcats with a chance to win this game. Deanna Cole got on first, stole second, moved up to third on a pass ball. Another pass ball. Deanna went for home, but was tagged out on what was a questionable call. I saw this play, and to me it looked like Deanna got under that tag, and that would have walked the game off for the Bobcats, of course, at the bottom of the 10th there.
Walk-off wild pitch?
Yeah. Walk-off wild pitch, steal home. It would have, but it did not. Kent State was able to come back in the inning. Savannah Jo Dorsey, like I said, an absolutely incredible pitching performance. 11 innings, 22 strikeouts. 112 of her 168 pitches, Bob, were strikes. If that's not efficiency, I don't know what is. She has to be one of the most efficient pitchers in the country. Recently moved up into second place all-time in the Mid-American Conference strikeouts in history. Ohio, there's going to be a big hole out on the Ohio softball field when Savannah Jo Dorsey leaves campus.
Now, I hate comparing softball to baseball.
Yeah.
But in this sense of mine, Ohio baseball and Ohio softball are similar. Their pitching and defense are solid. Their bats are not coming a lot. What is going on with the offense here?
Well, They started out so hot, and, offensively, baseball, softball, diamond sports, let's call it, very streaky games. But this is not something I'm really concerned about, this offensive output, or lack thereof. They have girls like Alex Day. That was hard to say. I don't know. It shouldn't be that hard to say. It's just Alex.
Okay.
Michaela Cooper, Alexa Holland, all contributing mightily on the offensive end of things. Some slumps there. But Morgan Gino, another girl, just a tremendous amount of power out of her bat. 5 or 6 home runs there for Morgan. This is a team that has hit 22 home runs this season and a tremendous amount of RBIs. I'm not that worried about their offensive output. I think come tournament time, they'll have things figured out. We're going to have a really solid chance to win the MAC here, maybe even the favorite.
All right, looking at the MAC as a whole, though, who is your favorite if it's not Ohio?
I think it has to be Ball State. Like I said, this is a very potent offense that showed they can come in here and compete with this Bobcats team and potentially even beat them. Ohio, I think, has the edge in pitching with Savannah Jo Dorsey and Danielle Stein. I think they have the best pitching staff in the MAC. You can stop at those two right there, and they would probably have the best pitching staff in the MAC. So, I think if they get something out of their offense, maybe even if it's just an average output during the tournament, and Danielle Stein and Savannah Jo Dorsey pitch up to their potential, I think the Bobcats can win the tournament. But if you're asking me to pick a team other than Ohio, I would have to say Ball State.
Well, you heard it here first,
you
folks. Did. Great block. Thank you so much.
Oh, great.
We're going to ask Shane Days to come back on. We're going to have a trivia game that you're going to lead us here.
I am.
And that's going to end the show. But we're going to be right back after this quick commercial break here on Ohio Sports Zone.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
We are back here on Ohio Sports Zone, joined once again by Rabbit Father Shane Dazen and Bobby Levine. Oh, man. On your way out, aren't you?
Stop.
All right, we'll save that for next week. Let's do some trivia in this block. I got 5 questions. Whoever gets the most will win Pride. Ohio Sports Zone Pride. Just simply Pride.
What if I don't want that?
Well, that's what you're getting.
I don't want it.
Who holds the MAC record for most receptions in a single football game with 23? Is it A, Freddie Barnes from Bowling Green? Is it B, Ja'Cory Stone from Eastern Michigan? C, Tyler Jones from Eastern Michigan? Or Eric Page for Eastern Michigan? Shane, we'll start with you.
Oh, man. Tyler Jones.
Said Jones.
Tyler Jones.
Jonesy.
Related to Seth Jones?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Going with Jones?
I'm going with Jones.
I'm D. I didn't even know these names. We'll go with D.
Good thing you're paying attention. It actually was Tyler Jones. 23 receptions in a game back in 2009 for Eastern Michigan. You know what's a fun fact about that game, Bobby? I know you love your fun facts.
I love fun facts.
172 yards by Chippewa's wide receiver at the time. Antonio Brown also had a touchdown in that game.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him. Neither have I. I don't know who Antonio Brown is.
He definitely went on to
he's all right.
a salesman or something like that.
So what, point for Shane? Let me write that down. I know the last time we were playing this, there was an incident. I falsely accused
I'm
Mitchell.
horrible at these games, folks. Just keep it going.
Okay, volleyball. Let's talk some volleyball. I know you guys love volleyball. When was the last time the volleyball team advanced to the NCAA tournament and won a game? Is it A, 2010, B, 2013, C, 1987, or D, 2005? Bobby.
I'm going to go with 05.
Go 2010.
Point for Bobby, actually. I know you're just talking yourself down about being terrible, but there's one for you. 2010, they swept Penn State. Not Penn State. Penn, just the smart kids.
Ivy League.
Yeah, the Ivy League.
There you go.
The smart kids. Harvard on the hot can get one.
Getting
one on the Ivy League day. But they would lose to Duke in the next round. So
surprised.
Number 3, the third question here. Bobby, I hope you get this one. It's about ladies basketball. Who holds the record for most points in a single game for Ohio women's basketball with 41? Is it A, Lori Moorman versus Tennessee State in the year 2000? Is it B, Kiana Black, 2016 versus Central Michigan? Is it C, Marlene Stollings, 1997 versus Robert Morris? Or is it D, the all-time leading scorer, Caroline Mast versus Central in 1986?
Let him answer first.
Yeah.
I'm going to go C.
It was C?
Kiana Black.
No. It was Marlene Stollings versus Robert Morris, dropped 41.
Is that right?
Yeah, you were right.
You're cheating.
Yeah, he's probably cheating. He's probably looking at the answers.
I'm just good at this stuff.
We'll review the video to see if he's looking at the answers. Fun fact about Stallings is now the head coach of the Minnesota Golden Gophers up there in,
$5
in Minnesota. They made it to the WNIT this year, the second round there.
He's
They got a
found
great
himself on one of
hockey
those
team.
10,000
The
lakes.
Wild.
Yeah, the Wilds.
Yeah, the Wilds.
Number 4, Bobby, this is your last chance to stay in this game, make it an interesting question. Number 5, I really hope you get this one right.
I hope I do too.
Men's basketball. All-time leading scorer in men's basketball. Who's the most points? Pretty simple. A, DJ Cooper. B, Brandon Hunter. C, Dave Jamerson. Or D, Antonio Basutti. Bobby, who is it?
I love Busuti.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
It's not DJ Cooper. What was B and C?
I don't know, were you listening? Brandon Hunter's B, and C is Dave Jamerson.
I'm gonna go Brandon Hunter.
I'm going to go with Brandon Hunter.
You guys are both wrong, actually. So,
Make it interesting.
yeah, so I guess we did make it interesting. Unless Bobby ties and we have a 2-2, we got to pick it up next week.
Wrong.
Number 5. This is a hockey question. I threw a women's basketball one in there for Bob. Throw a hockey one in here for Rabbit Father Shane Dazen. The 1998-1999 ACHA hockey champion Iowa State Cyclones actually had to vacate their championship due to what reason? Was it A, improper benefits? Was it B, use of a professional hockey player? C, lack of institutional control? Or was it D, an illegal mid-season produce fundraiser? Shane or Bobby, we'll ask you to answer this one first.
I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but like getting improper benefits would be on my mind. But I'm actually gonna go with having a professional hockey player. I know it sounds just ridiculous why that would be it, but we'll go with that B.
Shane?
I like the food fundraiser one. Is that what it was?
The illegal produce
I like,
fundraiser?
That's just like, that's just so crazy. Like, it could be true. We'll see.
Well, it looks like it's a little too crazy because Bobby is correct. They did use a professional hockey player who's being paid to play professional hockey and had to strip their championship. That puts us at 2-2, if my calculations are correct, which means we're going to play some more trivia next week for Bobby Levine's final episode of Ohio Sports Zone. We're going to see who is the Ohio Bobcats trivia champion and Mid-America Conference trivia champion. Thank you so much for watching, folks. Ethan Graham with Bobby Levine, Shane Dazen. What do you tell the people at the end?
Everyone be out there, be safe.